Thanks for watching Numbskull News, and today I'm going to talk about the Big Ten and why they have the CFP format correct. They're right. They have it right. Now, this format, I believe, helps the Big 12 and the ACC. Although Yormark and Phillips, they don't really understand that yet. However, it is the correct format for everybody. Now, the Big Ten isn't pushing for it because they want to help the Big 12 or the ACC. No. They want to help themselves. And by the way, that's what Greg Sankey wants. He wants to help his own conference. Everybody should be looking out for their own conferences. This is what drives me nuts about Yormark. He's not looking out for the best interest of the Big 12. Period. You say, well, we want to earn our way in. You don't earn your way in with a committee who's using their opinion to put you in. How in the hell is that earning your way in? No, the reason they're doing that is for their own self-preservation. This is why they want the AQ model. Now, the Big Ten is on top right now, but they know damn well that can change. You know, they won the last two national champions. Last year, they had 4 teams in the CFP. The SEC had 3, but that could flip really fast. The SEC is very deep. They're still the best football conference in the nation. And if you just simply break it down, 5 plus 11. And if you think about it, the CFP and the committee, they'll put in an ass ton of SEC teams. They just will. The propaganda has been there for a long time. The media propaganda has been pushed by ESPN and others. It's completely undeniable that the committee is, I'm sorry, they get moved by that kind of propaganda. And of course, what the Big Ten is worried about is a crap ton of SEC teams get in, only 3, maybe 3, maybe 4, who knows, somewhere in there, Big Ten schools. And you may say, well, hey, that's great, right? 3 or 4 teams. Not when the SEC is getting 6 or 7. All right, that's the overall difference. Because the SEC is deeper. In most years, a 9-3 SEC team is going to get in over most Big 12 teams or most ACC teams or most Big 10 teams. That's what will happen. So first of all, they want the SEC to go to 9 games. The SEC has no interest in going to 9 games. They would have done it already and cashed the check. They don't want to move to 9 games. What everyone has stated is that we'll just stay at 12. We'll just stay at 12. Everyone will throw their hands up in the air. We stay at 12, 5 plus 7, and that's it. Only that's not it. Because you're leaving money on the table, a lot of money. No one wants to leave that money on the table. They're going to come back to the negotiating room, and they're going to figure this out. And look, it's only Petiti and Sankey that have a say in this. Phillips, Yormark have 0 say. The G5, even less of a say. If there's such thing as a negative say, that's what they have. So, but I do believe if you can get the other commissioners on board with you, maybe that helps push Sankey a certain direction. So, how can Petiti get Yormark and Phillips on board? You need more AQ spots. I know there's supposed to be 2 each, right? It's going to take more. They need play-in games. See, this is a problem that was brought up by Greg Flugar, and it's a very interesting problem, and it's probably true. All right, that's the big problem, is that you get these play-in games with the Big Ten and the SEC with them having 4 automatic qualifiers apiece, but the Big 12 and the ACC don't get that. They don't get that luxury. They don't get that extra money. So, hence, there's a problem. Now, one way to rectify that, and one way I do like, is that you have the number 3 team of the ACC and the number 3 team of the Big 12 go at it for the 3rd automatic qualifying spot for a CFP spot. So every year you get 2, and then one of those conferences gets a 3rd, depending on that game. That would be pretty awesome. But is that enough? I don't know. It's also been suggested, hey, Maybe not 16. Maybe it needs to go to 18 or 20 to make sure there's enough of these play-in spots for the Big 12 and the ACC. What I would say is that, look, the ACC's future, it's not all that bright. As a matter of fact, there's an expiration date on it. So I don't know if you can get them to, them meaning the Big Ten, to agree to that. Because you're just going to have to change it again once that conference falls apart. But however, let's come back to the Big Ten. You see, this is a forward-thinking conference. And like I said, the SEC can get more teams in on a normal, regular basis, I believe, than the Big Ten. I think the Big Ten actually know this. They know the depth of the SEC. And for right now, they're making a smidge more money than the SEC does. However, things can change where the Big Ten becomes the absolute number 2 conference to the SEC's number 1. And yeah, that can absolutely happen. Because just look at college basketball for just a second. All but 2 SEC teams in a 16-team conference just made the NCAA tournament. That is ridiculous. All right, that's not the CFP, but son of a bitch. It seems like everywhere you look, the SEC is making all these inroads into athletics. They've always been a really good athletic conference, the great athletic conference. They've dominated they've dominated football, they've dominated some other sports. Now they're looking at dominating basketball. This is a problem for the Big Ten, a monster problem for the Big Ten athletic conference. This is why they're really looking at going after Florida State, Clemson, Miami, some of those bigger brands of the ACC to bring them in so they can be more competitive with the SEC. However, they can't agree to go to 16 with 5 plus 11 and the SEC only playing 8 conference games. The Big Ten isn't looking to take a big step down to the SEC. So this is why they're doing it. This is why they're doing the AQ model. They're trying to help cap some things with the SEC. And that's not for the Big 12. That's not for the ACC. That is for the Big Ten. Because they don't want to start getting their ass kicked. And in football, I mean, they got some great brands there, but look, outside of Ohio State, outside of Michigan, who's been winning the national titles out of the Big Ten? Yeah, nobody else. In the last 20 years? I mean, Penn State? No. USC had just got there. Oregon just got there. Nebraska hadn't done a damn thing. So, Wisconsin? No. They got teams that can get it done. But they haven't really showed up. You look at the other side with the SEC, I don't have to tell you guys. It's not just Alabama. It's not just Georgia. It's LSU. It's Florida. Hell, Auburn got a title one year. Tennessee, they recruit well enough to get a title. It can happen for them. So, there's a lot of depth there. Some people say Ole Miss can do something. South Carolina, maybe they're on the way up to potentially getting a title. We'll see. But it's a lot of depth. A lot of real depth. Now, the Big Ten depth is coming up too. I'm not saying it's not. As a matter of fact, the Big Ten's depth, I would say, is probably better than it's been in a long time. But we have to see it first. And we haven't seen it. All right, maybe this year. Maybe this year we see somebody besides Ohio State or Michigan win something. But I do know there's a real threat with the SEC for the Big Ten, and the Big Ten's very well aware of it. And this is another reason that I'm totally for the AQ model. Because look, ultimately, it's not a big Ten and SEC breakaway people need to worry about. It's the absolute burial of everybody by the SEC you should be worried about. because they're that good. They're that good. Do you want to see an SEC champion every single year? We saw that most years anyway. I know I got tired of it. It really lessened my interest overall in college football because of it. It gets tiresome watching Alabama win all the damn titles. It really does. And it shows you that, hey, there's not a lot of parity here. You say, oh, you're just against excellence. I'm not against excellence. I'm not. I mean, I'm sorry. We saw this with Tom Brady in New England, right? I mean, what did they win? Like 6 Super Bowls with Brady? And competed in several others? Yeah, that was dominance. And you're talking about an era of salary cap, free agency, complete parity in the NFL, and you still got that excellent run. Now I hated Tom Brady. I hated New England, but you got to give it to him, right? It's the most impressive run ever. And with Alabama, of course, it's very impressive. But it's not like all things are equal. They're not coming out of parity at all. And don't give us championship parity. Okay. That's cute, but whatever. So you Big 12 fans that are worried, well, we want to be able to earn it. Well, playing your way into the CFP would be earning it, would it not? Right now, you don't get a chance to do that. Oh, I'm sorry. You got a conference title game. You can earn, one team can earn their way in. What about the at-large? No. At-large is voted on. That's not earning a freaking thing. All right, that's a group of people's opinion that say yay or nay to you. And last year, our second and third best teams weren't even a consideration. They weren't even a consideration. That's what we're looking at for the future in this 5+11 BS. I'm just looking at reality. Everyone who's pushing for 5+11, there's no reality to it. I want to earn my way in. No, you don't. You just want to sit at home because that's what you're going to get. All but one team. Then, on the rare occasion, will the Big 12 get another spot? Because the committee doesn't care about the Big 12 at all. At all. So, yeah, you go ahead and do that dumb shit. And we'll get buried every year. That's my worry. It's not the breakaway. It's the burial. And that's what every Big 12 fan should be worried about. You don't want to get buried in this shit. So take your AQs. You're taking half the money out of the CFP. You making half out of the CFP what the Big 2 make. You've given them all the leverage, all the say. You give them total control over the CFP. All right. Your mark and the Big 12 get no votes. Our voice. Now we have the right to express our voice and our opinion. And the Big 10 and the SEC have to listen to it. That's it. There's no actual, hey, we don't like this, so we're not going to do it. No, there's not, hey, let's take a vote. There's a democracy. No, it's just Big 10 and SEC, and that's it. That's who's going to decide the fate of everything in the CFP. So, I don't know. There's some people that you're just hard-headed as shit and you won't listen. All right, but I guess you just have to see the Big 12 get buried every year. Year after year after year after year. And then you'll see that you should have taken the AQ model. So we'll see if they can get in there and they renegotiate and get everything together. I don't know if they can. I'm hoping so. It's hard for me to think the Big 10 and the SEC want to leave money on the floor. That's what I'm. It's hard to see that. But I guess we'll see if that happens or not. All I know is this AQ model, it's best for us. We need to do that. And stop thinking you can't renegotiate something else later on. You absolutely can, especially if you have the results. You kind of have to have the results in order to get something flipped in more of your direction. In other words, more than 2 AQ spots. And you also have to think of, If we get 2 and the ACC gets 2 and the ACC falls apart, then what does the Big 12 get at that point? 3? 4? You got to think of the future here. Be a little forward thinking, not just in the here and now, but down the road. Anyway, thanks for watching this crap, and I'll be back with some more crap later. Bye.